Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 1984 cult classic film Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. This is written by George Lucas, directed by Steven Spielberg, came out May 23rd, 1984, takes place in 1935. So this is a year before the events of Raiders of the Lost Ark, which took place in 1936. We're introduced to the character of Short Round in here. We're introduced to the character of Willie in here. I don't know. I don't remember if 3 and 4 discusses what happens with Willie and Short Round. My assumption at the end of this film is that Willie goes back to Missouri, but I don't know what happens to Short Round. We get where Indy met Short Round, because Short Round was trying to steal from him somewhere in Shanghai, I think, and Indy caught him, and then they kind of became friends, and Short Round kind of became his bodyguard in the process. So this movie starts out in Shanghai. Willie is a cabaret singer. She is singing Anything Goes in Mandarin. And then there's, double crossing of Indy and some, mob boss, of course, obviously. Indy's poisoned. He drinks an antidote along the way. Short Round is driving what looks like a DeVille. I don't know if it's a DeVille, but it looks like a DeVille through the streets of Shanghai as the two of them are trying to figure out how to depoison Indy and, can Willie hold a gun or not as everybody else is shooting at them. Short Round is a hysterical character. It's the same actor who plays Data in Goonies. I don't know if we've talked about Goonies, but he hasn't really done a lot of stuff here and there. He was just in that new Hawaiian movie on Netflix we just talked about. What was it? Curse of Ohana? Finding Ohana? Something like that. I think it was Finding Ohana. But this film is awesome because it's really just in two locations. It's in Shanghai, and then the plane that they are on to get to, where are they going? Somewhere in India. They're trying to get to Delhi in India, and the plan backfires when the two pilots escape the plane via parachute, and then the plane crashes in the Himalayas, and then they wind up in this small village, not even close to Delhi, but it's close to this ancient palace, which starts with a P. I can't remember the name of it. But then the leader of the village is explaining that all the children were stolen and the magic rock of theirs was taken and all the crops are dead and the animals are dead and they're starving, that they need the magic rock back and then they can give them a guide to Delhi. So Willie, Indy, and Short Round all go to this palace where all of the scandalous stuff is happening. The Maharaja is, a little kid, but he's like under this like daze kind of a thing. They call it the Black Death of Kali, something like that, the evil god Kali. This is all about like Hindu mythology and the Hindu gods and stuff. So there's a mining system underneath the palace, and there's this temple for the evil god Kali for sacrifices and things like that. And there's 5 sacred magical stones, one of which was taken from that village. But there's only 3 of them present because the 2 are still trying to be found. That's why the kids were stolen to then mine under this palace/temple. So the stones are magic, obviously. The myths are real, obviously. And all hell breaks loose with Indy, Willie, and Short Round, escaping booby traps and escaping bad guys and all these different things. There's an entire good chunk, I'd say a good 7 to 10 minutes of them escaping the underground mining system in a mining car, but like it's a roller coaster and it's just constant, and there's fighting and gunshots and the brakes fail and then there's water gushing through everything, and then there's a whole rope bridge scene between all the bad guys, and then the kids eventually brought back to the village with the magical rock. Everyone lives happily ever after. So we think, but this is again 1935, and then 1936 is the events of Raiders of the Lost Ark. So Temple of Doom is all about breaking that curse, making sure the kids, get out, getting the magic rock to its rightful owner. But the last like 45 minutes of this film is just one thing after another thing, and it's just so action-packed adventure thriller. It's at that 0 to 100 constant for 45 minutes. It's amazing. And what's fun about it is that the ride at Tokyo Disney Sea is loosely kind of based off this, even though it's its own separate like Crystal Skull story. Same thing, you're in a mining car and you're going through mining shafts and stuff, which is awesome. And we see that within Big Thunder Mountain as well. But then also like Temple of Doom, the movie, is very heavily featured in the Indiana Jones Adventure ride in Disneyland, California. Again, you're in your own mining car and you're going through different things like that. It's not a roller coaster. It's more like a motion ride kind of thing. You think you're going to dip into the lava, but you're not. It's so prevalent of this film. This came out in 1984. I don't know when the indie ride opened in Disneyland. I'd have to look into that. I want to say in the 90s. I think it was in the 90s. But yeah, awesome film. Awesome sequel to the original. So the original was 1981. This was 1984. I believe the third was 1985. No, 1989. I think it's 1989. I think it was a 5-year difference, 1989. But that's the next thing we're going to go look. We're going to go watch that, and then we'll talk about it. I don't know any fun facts about this film, but it's just such an awesome thrill ride. Literal thrill ride, whether you're in a ride at one of the Disney parks or sitting at your couch watching it on your TV. It's just such a thrill. Absolutely love it. That's all I got. Mucho mahalo.